Welcome back. This is Wisconsin Shoe Guy. Today we're going to talk about mid-range hand-welted footwear coming out of China. Now, we've seen the what I'm going to call the low end or entry level hand-welted coming from our friends at Meerman. And then there's this middle range, which we're talking about today, and then the very high end, very bespoke quality level. They are a bespoke shoemaker from Acme. So what do we have in between, and what do you get for that money? And today we're going to take a look at these shoes. And what's interesting about it is that they're really coming out of two factories, is the supposition that I've heard from our membership, but they are representing a number of different brands. So the first brand here is Raymar, which is a Japanese firm, but they have their shoes made in the same factory as Matina, which is here, which is a Chinese firm, and has their premises in factory in China. Now, here you have a very traditional 6-eyelet hole cut. You can see that there's a factory stitch, a factory finish. This is all sanded and made and ironed basically with a machine. But they do a really nice job with the finishing on the bottom, on the waist, with the painting. Very straight heels. Do a really fine job just kind of getting things out there. Now, these shoes run about $250. So they're really better in price than Meerman. They are out there. Now, the quality of the lining, the quality of the leather is better. And I would say that the quality of the insoles are better because they're more comfortable than Meerman. And I think that has to do with a combination of the insoles and the lining, which is why I have them in this. Now, the other brand that comes out of there, of course, is Matina itself. And this is very high-end leather. The stitching and the broguing and the clicking is very good. They have these really interesting designs. This is a Mahler Adelaide, and it has, you know how some of my Adelaides have the patch of the facing on the outside? This one has it kind of combined with outside and inside, which is an interesting, it's an interesting way of doing it. Proportions are very good. Same sole, right? Although it is a JR sole, but the sole itself is the same. And the difference is the heels. Now, this pair has a really nice tapered heel, where this one is square. And this tapers it to a whole new level. So you can see kind of the difference in size. And keep in mind that, like, at this level, they're very close in size, but the heel on the Matina is even narrower, which is better for my feet. And it's a little bit more asymmetric. The overall feel for the shoe is much more along high end. Now this is Vaucluse leather, which is also very nice. But really, the big difference here is the heel, the contour. The rest of it is the same, although this is a JR sole, which is going to be harder wearing. So now we take a look at this factory. Quality very good. It has a range. The stitch density is going to be higher on the Matina, but it's still very solid on the Raymar. And I would say twice to almost 3 times as dense as it is like on an Allen Edmonds, right? So we take these and then we move over to the next one. Now, this is October 10th, Yosol and Blazing Wonder. Now, the theory, and I stress that this is a theory because I'm not an expert, and nor has anybody in the actual factories confirmed this, but it appears to be pretty well-known knowledge that Xiaobo, October 10th, Yosol are all made in the Blazing Wonders factory. And the quality, you can see here, I'm pretty sure the last is the same, okay? And you can see that the quality is very much on par. This is shell cordovan, this is just regular French calf, and with this beautiful Jenna suede. Here, this is also French calf. Now, we look at these shoes and we see very, very clean, very well skived joints, patching. We have just a really, really clean waist on these. These are all stitched waists. This looks more like a blind stitch, and I'm not sure whether it's a blind stitch here or whether it's inside, but it is very, very closed. And so I have to assume that this is done at a very high level. Now is not the time to really dig into it, but then we get into the soles, and you have fiddleback, you have multicolor. They do the plates there for me. You have heels. These are tapered heels, so they're supposed to be smaller. Very thin heel stacks, and overall just a very, very high quality. This is my oldest pair. Then as you look at these, this is exactly the same. A little bit wider on the heel, but not terribly so. Very sharp, clean edges, and just beautiful. Now, in Yosal, I didn't elect to have the multicolor, but you can see the fiddle, the taper, that's all looking almost identical. I did ask for spade soles, which you can see they come out a little bit here and here in order to do that. The quality on this, the lining is comparable. They all have the little circular thing on the inside, like Edward Green, to write the thing, and they're all handwritten. Okay. The waist on this, very similar to the waist on the others. You know, I'm not gonna say that this is really blind welted. I think as I look at these and I compare them to my higher end shoes, there's more of a gap here, so they're probably stitched. It's just done in a very tight way. But it is, still, the waist is very, very well executed. And then stitch density, just a shade tighter than it is on the others. And then here we have this one. This is a white sole. Now, obviously I chose that. Fiddleback waist. Again, the tapered heel. The heels, if we look at the heels on the different brands here, and we look at this one, we look at them all together, you can see how similar they are. Again, affirming the assumption from many, many people that these are in fact the same factory. You know, the stitch density of all the sewing is another thing that's also very tight and consistent across all the brands. Now here you can see they do Norvegese, and they do it well. Very, very clean lines along the sole for this. And then the stitch density from the midsole in, this is so tight I can't even count it. It's very, very clean. So again, just a beautiful execution and well done. So, you know, you have $250 to $300, say here, probably looking at $350 to $400 here. And then these are gonna be around $550. And then you'll pay a significant surcharge for the shell cordovan, which is your normal, you know, $600 to $800. So, but that is some beautiful shoes, hand welted by Chinese factories by a variety of makers. And what I love about this is that it gives you the opportunity to kind of stack them against each other and really look at it, decide what's important to you, what style you like. The lasts are generally a little different. So you get some that have more of a chisel, you get some that are more rounded. And then you can see how here, this last and this last are the same, but because this is an Adelaide, they have a little bit more rounding here, and this is a little tighter here. That's always interesting for me to look at as we see some differences where we expect to see similarities. Anyway, this is Wisconsin Shoe Guy, and that's a look at some of these beautiful shoes coming out of China. Thanks for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below.